Hello, Senior Stoner fans. It's the real Senior Stoner back at you for your Wax Made Dabber Diamond Dab of the Day. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining me. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, send a like, and I reply to all comments. Let's get started with today's topic. You know, I build a lot of these, if not all these topics, out of my life. Is it really possible to improve our memories? Have you ever found yourself forgetting where you left your keys? Or blanking out information on a test you took? You wished your memory was a little bit better? Fortunately, there are plenty of things we can do to help improve our memories. Utilizing some sort of reminder system can help. Online calendars, daily to-do lists, but what about the all-important information that we need to cement to our long-term memories? It might take some effort and even involve tweaking or changing your normal routine for studying and remembering things. But there are strategies we can utilize to get more out of our memories. So let's discuss. You want to focus your attention. It's one of the major components of memory. In order for information to move from our short-term memory to our long-term memory, we need to actively attend to the information. So try to learn the information with as few distractions as possible, like TV, music, or something else. I know getting rid of distractions can be a challenge, especially if we're surrounded by roommates, family, or children. Maybe set aside some time to do it alone. Ask the people to give you some space. Or ask your partner to take the kids for an hour so you can focus on whatever work or project you're doing. When I was in college, I'm a Syracuse graduate, I crammed a lot, unfortunately. So did Mrs. Stoner, because we partied a lot. And then we realized, wait, the test is tomorrow morning. So the night before, we're like up until 4 trying to learn everything. Avoid that. You got to avoid the cramming. Studying materials over a number of sessions is what gives you the time you need to adequately process information you're learning. Research has continuously shown that students who study regularly remember the material far better than those who do all of their studying in one marathon session. Also important to organize information to improve the memory. Information that's organized into related clusters. We can take advantage of this by structuring or organizing the materials we're studying. Maybe grouping similar concepts, similar terms together, or making an outline of our notes and the book that we're reading to help group related concepts. Well, it's also important to use mnemonics to improve memory. Mnemonic devices are a technique often used by students to aid in recall. A mnemonic is simply a way to remember information. For example, you might associate a term you need to remember with a common item you're very familiar with. The best mnemonics are those that utilize positive imagery, humor, or novelty. Maybe come up with a rhyme, a song, or a joke to help remember a specific segment of information. Rehearse, 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 and elaborate. Rehearse information to improve your memory. I've given thousands of presentations to tens of thousands of people. Not one did I do off the cuff. I practiced every one downstairs in the living room. Every one. On a movie screen. With a mirror nearby. I filmed myself. Why did I do that? I wanted to be great. Not good. I wanted to be great. I wanted to be the best they had ever seen. I did not need to look at what I was clicking through on my presentation. You don't want to know why? Because I wrote it. And because I wrote it, I knew what it was. So when you rehearse, it helps you recall information, helps you encode what you're studying into long-term memory. And one of the most effective encoding techniques is elaborative rehearsal. An example would be to read the definition of a key term, study the definition of that term, and then read a more detailed description of what it means. After repeating the process a few times, you'll notice that recalling the information is much easier. Sidebar: my grandmother, God rest her soul, taught me Spanish. I took 4 years of Spanish in high school. When I got to college, I thought I was going to be a language master. I go into the first day, and they're all speaking Spanish so fast I didn't know what was happening. I went to the language lab the first night, 3 hours on the headphones. I didn't know what was being said. Needless to say, I moved out of that. But it's important, whether it's a foreign language or whatever it is, you've got to repeat. You've got to do this. And you've got to visualize. You've got to visualize. When you are thinking orange, visualize an orange, a navel orange. When you are thinking chair, visualize the gray chair that I'm sitting in. Visualize the concepts to improve your memory. Many people benefit greatly from visualizing the information they study. Pay attention to the photographs, charts, and other graphics in your textbooks or whatever you're reading. If you don't have visual cues to help, try creating your own. Draw a chart or a figure in the margin, or a note using a highlighter in different colors, grouping related ideas. Sometimes making flashcards of various terms you need to remember will help cement those things into your mind. Sidebar: when I was young and living with Mrs. Stoner before we were married, I was selling furniture. Mrs. Stoner would have, I'd take my sales bag and she would have every one of them a picture of the furniture. On the back was the price of every piece in the bedroom or living room. And guess what? I knew it. Do you know why? Because she helped me. I was able to visualize with the picture and go through and remember. And remember to relate information to things you already know. This is important. Relating information to things that you're comfortable with, things you've seen every day in your house, people you know and love. When you're studying unfamiliar material, it can be overwhelming. So take the time to think about how it relates to what we already know. And by establishing relationships of this, unfamiliar stuff, new ideas, and previously existing memories, we're going to be able to dramatically increase the likelihood of recalling the recently learned information. Reading out loud. I'm a talker to myself for all my life. I'm an out loud reader as well. So research has shown, that's right, that you can actually teach yourself new concepts and enhance understanding and recall by talking it out loud. What that means is find a partner. You'll talk some to them, they'll talk some to you. And you know and you remember a little bit better. And you also need to understand to pay more attention to the difficult information. Physics is certainly different than addition. So have you ever noticed how it's sometimes easier to remember information at the beginning or the end of a chapter or a magazine? Well, they found, researchers, that the order of information can play a role in recalls called serial position effect. So while recalling middle information can be difficult, you can overcome it by spending extra time rehearsing that information in the middle. Another strategy is to try restructuring what you've learned so it'll be easier to remember. When you come across it in a different concept, you'll devote a little extra time to memorizing the information. You know, all this sounds complex and complicated, but you know what? It's not. It ain't. Why? Why isn't it complicated? All this stuff because we're all going to vary our routines of studying and remembering things based on our individual needs and desires. Occasionally, we want to change it up even. If we're accustomed to reading and studying in a particular location, try moving to a different spot. That's right. So by adding a little element of novelty to your sessions of trying to remember whatever you're learning, you can increase your effectiveness and get better long-term recall. You got to rest. You got to find ways to sleep. You got to try to understand that you can't burn the candle at both ends. God rest my grandfather's soul. He came up with that saying. As I would walk in, he lived in a garden apartment. He was in an apartment across the courtyard from me. So I'd walk down into the path and I'd family whistle. And it couldn't be 1 o'clock, could be 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning. As a young man, I came in late. He would say, "Hi there, Senior Stoner. I love you, but you got to remember, you shouldn't be out this late. You can't burn the candle at both ends." Because I had to get up early the next day, either for school or work. What I'm here to tell you is that you can improve your memory, okay? I'm a person that really needs to do that, okay? Because I'm a person that's 64 and a half years old, that likes to indulge in THC-related things. My memory's not so good anymore. So I need to work at it. And I'm really glad that I found and came up with these suggestions. These are going to help me. But my job is helping all of you. And I hope I did. If you found today's video helpful or interesting and you liked it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, send a like, and I reply to all the comments. Here comes our Wax Made Dabber. It's going to be a hard hit. Cheers, everybody. This thing hits like a moose. We have a lot of deer around here. No moose. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Been the Real Senior Stoner. Cheers.